Good morning. Here I am at the base of Diamond Head. I just read in the paper yesterday that they're gonna deconstruct the bunkers that are on the top that have been there since the war. So, although I've been up to the crater hundreds of times, just want to get up there to get one last look before everything's dismantled. Here early this morning, check out the sunset behind, coming up towards Hoi Kai. All right, let's go check it out. Okay, here we are in the crater. The tunnel is behind me, but if you could just imagine, we're inside of a extinct volcano. So lots of history, not just with the creation of Hawaii, but going back a century with World War I, World War II. Some of these bunkers up top held a strategic position in watching what was coming towards us in the Pacific. But also, the 60s and 70s, before my time, I heard there's some really cool concerts that took place in here, but unfortunately those days are over. All right, so here we're at the base of the trail, right behind me. Let's get it going. Okay, that was the initial ascent that I just hit there. It wasn't always that way. It used to always be like a paved dirt trail, like most hikes, but over the years they added the concrete and sidewalk, probably just to get access. Having been a first responder, there are people or tourists that get in over their heads coming up this hill, and just a way to get maybe a golf cart or from DLNR or the state to them to help with the rescue with HFT. But here we go. I'll flip the camera on in a second. Okay, now we're on the main trail, which you can see has also got a lot of concrete or gunite, probably to help divert some of the runoff when it rains. I'm not going to film everything today just because I just want to enjoy the hike and not be a videographer. But I'll turn the corner here shortly and give you a perspective on where we're going up to. Although from a distance it looks like a big mountain, the actual elevation is something only like 1,000 feet. So relative to volcanoes on the neighbor islands, or even some of the crazy mountains in the Rockies, it's not a whole lot, but it's just a nice perfect amount for a morning hike. Okay, now we get into a few more switchbacks, which is what most of the hike is. Falling rocks, be careful. This is always such a fun view looking back from the crater towards some of the neighborhoods like Wilhelmina Rise, Honolulu Heights, etc. But that's ultimately where we're going to be going up there. Okay, here's a perspective of the switchbacks I just came up. They traverse all along here. But once again, I'll zoom in on this, but that'll give you a perspective of Wilhelmina Rise. You can just see the street going straight up the mountain, but that's a great neighborhood to get views of Diamond Head, as is St. Louis Heights. And then you got Wailainui Ridge to the right. Okay, and then I'm gonna head right around the corner here, and this will give you a perspective of some really cool residential real estate out towards Kahala beyond the crater. Out the distance there. And Coco Head and Hawaii Kai. But you can kind of make out on the coastline there, the Kahala Hotel. Alrighty, now in for our first big set of stairs, which is coming up behind me. Okay, here we are at the top of the stairs. I'm about to enter the tunnel, but I've got to put on a mask because there's still regulations here. Alrighty, right behind me is where the tunnel exits. You have the opportunity to go up the set of stairs there, which takes you into the bunker, or the set of stairs behind. We'll hit this one first and come down around the backside. Alright, I'm a little winded after those stairs. Now we're going to enter another little tunnel behind here. And unfortunately, I think this is what may be dismantled this coming week or two. Okay, we're at a spiral staircase at the bottom. We're going to be going up there. Excuse me. And here we are at the first level. You can imagine taking yourself back in time. During the war, people would just be stationed here with their binoculars and view on the horizon. So that's level 1. Now let's go up to level 2. Okay, here we come out to level 2. Level 3 has already been blocked off due to safety, but you can see it goes up another level there. Once again, if you could just imagine the history of this place.
No.
So there's probably binoculars here for tourists at one point, but maybe even an artillery gun. I'm gonna have to duck my head going through this zone here. Then you pop yourself out, and there you got Diamond Head Lighthouse and the Gold Coast at the base of Diamond Head and Waikiki and Kapiolani Park to your right. All right, here we are at the summit. This is the top of that third level behind me, as I mentioned. But you can see the views from up here, Waikiki towards the back, and then towards the mountains, and the sunset behind me, coming up over Waikiki, as I mentioned. Okay, one last shot here. I'm in the turret. There's one level higher, but unfortunately, I think this is all that's going to get dismantled here coming up by DLNR. Just want to get one last look. All right, now for the ascent down on the exterior path behind me. I hope you appreciate that tour. One last shot before they dismantle the bunkers up there. I'll flip this around because I just want to show you one thing here. There you can see a helicopter pad for a landing zone. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of tourists sometimes get in over their heads, and there's a reason why they have all these fences here. And they sometimes just get really exhausted from hiking the mountain. But once again, taking this view, and thanks for watching my tour of this last week before we no longer see the bunkers at the top.